Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Russell Matthews here, and this is just a quick video to let you know that the next CRB application period opens up tomorrow, Monday, March 29th. Now, whenever a new CRB period opens up, I like to sort of do a summary video of all the different things that have happened over the past 2 weeks, both the CRB, we're going to touch a little bit on EI in today's video, and let you know the most important changes and updates that you need to know in case you didn't have a chance to watch all of my videos over the past 2 weeks, because let's face it, not everyone has the 10 to 15 minutes every single day to stay completely up to date. And the most important information likely for many people is about the extensions that have happened both to EI and to CRB. So we're going to touch on that first, but before we do, make sure to check out the links in the description where you can open up your own investment accounts. You can't really rely on government supports for the long term. You never know what's going to happen, so it's so important to take our wealth into our own hands. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Okay, let's dive into this. So first off, right around the same time that the EI extension was actually passed through the Senate and it received royal assent, we also got the regulatory changes that were expected to extend the CRB, the CRSB, and the CRCB. You'll remember if you watched last week's video, or 2 weeks ago, the last CRB update video like this, we talked about the fact that they really hadn't changed their language on the website, but now that language has changed. Now it says if your situation continues past 2 weeks, you will need to apply again. You may apply up to a total of 19 eligibility periods, or 38 weeks, between September 27, 2020 and September 25th, 2021. So this is including the extension. Remember previously there was a maximum of 13 weeks, or rather 13 eligibility periods, 26 weeks, and now of course that's been bumped up to 19 periods, 2-week periods, or 38 weeks, right? So this is how it changes when that benefit will end for you. Before the extension was put into place, this would have been the last application for many people who started applying for the CRB right at the beginning of the program and have made it all the way up until now. But now with this extension, people who have been on CRB since the very beginning, well, they're going to be able to extend their benefits all the way until the end of June now. Well, also there's been this precedent set that they've extended it when they got to the last deadline, so there is a chance that come June, depending on what the jobs numbers are, they could extend that as well. So if you were somebody who was sort of trying to optimize this to spread it out so you'd have at least one payment a month every week by sort of spacing out which ones you applied for, it may make sense to actually apply for everything because there is precedent here for it being extended in the future. And I would hate for you, if you were eligible for a benefit and you were needing it, to not have gotten it because you were trying to spread it out. Now on the EI side of things, they've also updated the language on their official website. They say if you qualify for regular benefits, you'll be eligible for up to 50 weeks of benefits. This is what the extension brought in. Now, there is a little bit of a lack of clarity of how exactly they're calculating who's getting an extension and who's not, so my recommendation is that you go to your Service Canada account. Once you've logged into your Service Canada account, you should be able to go to a section that has a whole bunch of information about your individual claim, and now that section should be updated if you are someone who's eligible for that extension. You're going to want to look into the total weeks of regular entitlement. That's the box where they would likely have changed how many weeks you're eligible to receive this, and that's how you can determine whether or not you've been extended. But over the past 2 weeks, the first thing we talked about was the potential for the government to forgive a lot of the CERB debt, even for people who may not have been eligible for this benefit. Now, this is a debate that was held specifically in the House of Commons while they were debating the EI extension. This issue came up, and the NDP sort of put forward this idea, and the Green Party backed it as well, for low-income CERB amnesty. Now, this would give people who applied for the CERB, even though they weren't eligible, the ability to not have to pay this back if they meet a certain income threshold, like being below that threshold. So it's a little bit of a controversial issue because it makes people say, hey, like I didn't apply for these benefits because I read the guidelines and I wasn't eligible. So why are these people who didn't read the guidelines and applied, why are they going to be forgiven this potentially $14,000? How come I'm not getting some of that? So it's a little bit controversial on that front, but we talk about it a lot more in this video. So check it out in the link in the description. Like all these videos I'm going to talk about for the rest of this video, you can find all those links down there in the description if you want more details. Then we talked about how all of these extensions were officially passed, everything that went on in the House of Commons and in the Senate. So if you want an update on everything that happened to bring these extensions forward that we just talked about at the beginning of the video, make sure to check out this video where we go more into the details here. Then we talked about some comments that were made by former Prime Minister Stephen Harper as well as the current Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland about whether or not it's likely that Canada Canada's heading and inching closer and closer to a debt crisis. We all know that the government has spent hundreds of billions of dollars since the beginning of the pandemic to help people with various supports. Now, there's lots of questions about how this is going to be paid for and whether or not this could be something that our grandchildren are paying for. Now, there's different ideas on both sides of this, so if you're interested in sort of taking a closer look at this and revealing exactly what's going on with the government, how they're actually raising all this money, where the money's coming from, this is all information we talk about in this video, as well as analyzing the comments from Stephen Harper as well as Chrystia Freeland. Then we talked about how there are some absolutely huge decisions that are about to be made on behalf of every single Canadian in this country, and that is the fact that there's a federal budget that's scheduled to come out now on April 19th. Now, most people, when they hear budget, they think, okay, so many numbers, it's not very important, it's a little bit boring, but in reality, this actually determines whether or not the government's going to put their money where their mouth is on many different issues and concerns that Canadians have. It determines what's going to happen with all of these benefits going down the road. Are we going to see this transition into a universal basic income like many political parties are starting to call for? And what's going to happen about everything in the country? Where's the money going to go? Are we going to put money into creating new green jobs, or are we going to put more supports into boosting up the jobs that we already have? This is where all of our questions are going to be answered, and I'm really looking forward to live streaming on that day, April 19th, so mark your calendar, because we're going to cover exactly what's going down and what our country is going to look like in the future if this budget is to be upheld. Then, and this isn't really benefit related, but I took a look at an app that I was getting interested in, and it's called Wealthsimple Cash. Now, you might have heard of Venmo or Cash App in the States, and it seems finally Canada has something similar that has just happened right up here north of the border. So I took a look at this app and sort of talked about whether or not it's something that we may use to interact and transact with each other in the future. It sort of works like a digital wallet where you can store some money right on your phone, and you can send this very easily to your friends who also have the app. Now, they are missing some major features that they say are coming in the future, which will allow you to actually use your phone to pay for things when you get to the debit machine or the credit machine at a store. So you could actually do all of your transactions with this app. Now, whether or not this will be largely adopted in Canada, given the fact that e-transfers are already quite advanced here in this country when compared to the States, well, that remains to be seen. But either way, you can sign up for the app. There's a link in the description if you're interested. Next, we covered 3 new supports that are coming to Canadians on behalf of their province's official budgets that have just been released. Now, over the past 2 weeks, the Ontario government as well as the Quebec government have released their provincial budgets, and inside of them are certain benefits for certain Canadians. Now, 2 ones to highlight in the Ontario budget is the increased support for learners benefit. So this is for parents, right? Parents of children who are below that grade 12 level or at a grade 12 age. So if you have a child of that age, you can expect an extra $400 hitting your account per child. Now, the other support that they've implemented is an increase for business owners. Now, you might remember that there was the grant for small business owners a little while back, up to $20,000. Now, if you or someone you know is a small business owner and they received this grant, they should expect another round of the same amount of money that they received the first round to hit their accounts relatively soon, and this should happen automatically for them. In Quebec, they actually shifted their focus to students, allowing for interest payments to be frozen on many student loans, as well as a $100 gift to students for each semester that they are currently enrolled in this year. So that's an unprecedented thing to see happen in the federal government. Students have sort of fallen through the cracks since the Canada Emergency Student Benefit ended back in September. So I'm sure this will be definitely welcomed by Quebec students. But those are the main videos that we made this week. There are some other ones in there like live streams and things like that, but I think these are the most important ones for you to know about in particular. And I want to take a second to thank you for watching all the way till the end of this video. YouTube is a weird beast in that sometimes it likes when people watch all the way till the end of the video because it recognizes, hey, this is a video that people want to see, and they'll push it out to more people. So thank you for watching all the way to the end. It'll help out the channel so much. And if you haven't already done so, check out the links in the description where you can sign up for various investing accounts if that's something you're interested in. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to keep on supporting Canadian content just like this. And with all that said, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really hope this video helped you out at least a little bit, and I'll see you next time. This channel is supported by viewers like you. Thanks, channel members.